Protecting my home, I imagined running into her great hairy arms, licking her throat, inhaling her smell, finding her tongue with mine, tasting apples, tumbling back into the grass, her legs clamped around my buttocks, both of us sticky with apple juice, warmth, brown eyes, a roaring tangle of limbs. I was dizzy, the rifle slack in my arms. She looked at me, wiped her jaws, and ambled back into the woods as the sun rose over Rattlesnake Canyon. She came back the next morning, and the next. I took to waiting for her, first in my long johns and then naked. I stood in the doorway, letting the morning sun draw the chill from my skin. She would watch me, sometimes for several minutes, unconcerned, before returning to the apples. I squared my shoulders and stuck out my chest. My days fell into a friendly pattern. There is a deep pool in a bend of Rattlesnake Creek just east of my cabin. It is fed by melted snow from the Mission Mountains. After the bear made her way back into the forest, I would run, still naked, and plunge into the icy water. I slid around the rocky stream bed like a trout. I emerged dripping, every inch of my body a-tingle, feeling younger than I had in years. Then I would wrap myself in a blanket and make coffee over the stove. I spent the afternoons hiking through the woods, checking my traps, killing and skinning what I caught. Boulders fill a ravine cutting down from the highest point on Scapegoat Ridge. Each day I carried one as far as I could, hoping to impress the bear with my strength. I stopped cutting my nails. When they were long enough, I sharpened the ends. I had the notion that, if we were to make love, she would want to feel my claws in her back. I treated myself to a cup of whiskey in the evenings. I sat by the creek with my back against a birch as the first stars showed themselves. I sipped the whiskey and whittled toys for the furry, indistinct children that wandered around the edges of my mind. I do not know if the bear noticed my expanding muscles, but she became comfortable with me and continued to visit even after the apples were gone and the nip of fall was replaced by November's true chill. She would sit in the clearing, surrounded by lodgepole pines, snuffling at the morning air and running her claws through the fur of her belly as I shivered in the doorway. She was quite fat by then. I knew the day would soon come when she took cover for her winter sleep. I dreaded it. I was never brave enough to step out of my doorway. I stood there, throwing off sparks, wanting desperately to go to her, but paralyzed. I have lingered many times atop high cliffs, tempted to step into the abyss. It was this same feeling with the bear. She could easily tear me limb from limb, rake her claws down my spine, and eat me, bones and all. Part of me wanted her to. I'd been alone for a long time. I began to fear for my sanity a month after the bear went into hibernation. The first true snow had fallen the night before, and as the wind whipped through the windows, rattling my pans and keeping me from sleep, I did a shameful thing. I was heartsick. I had grown used to a dull emptiness, such as the life of a trapper in the Montana and Oregon territories, but this new feeling was sharp, desperate. I wanted nothing more than to find the cave where she slept, curl up in her arms, and so too dream the winter away. I had made a fine haul that day. The beaver and muskrat, sensing the deeper snows to come, were anxious for food, vulnerable. 15 fresh pelts were strung above my doorway. Their rich animal smell reminded me of the bear. I took them down and arranged them on the floor in a bear shape, legs, arms, head. Then I stripped and lay flat on my stomach on the skins. I thought of her, the muscles in her rump, the way she snorted with pleasure over a ripe apple. I opened my mouth and sucked on the fur. I licked it. I wriggled my head.